6, a bill that could delay a special election for New York's 21st congressional district, now dead, at least for now. This one's getting a lot of attention. Democratic leaders who control the state Senate and the state Assembly chose to kill the legislation today, hours before it would have made it to the floor for a vote. CBS 6's Ashley Stefanik is live for us in the Capitol with reaction. What are folks saying, Ashley?
Greg, this bill, it would have allowed Governor Kathy Hochul to delay the scheduling of special elections until the November general election, meaning it would have taken even longer to fill Representative Elise Stefanik's Republican seat in Congress, as she has been tapped by President Donald Trump to become the next United Nations ambassador. Now, Democrats, they introduced the bill in the Senate and Assembly on Friday, saying the delay of special elections would save money for local governments by consolidating elections instead of having one now and another one in November. The bill also pointed to special elections having lower voter turnout and decreased participation in the electoral process. Stefanik has yet to be confirmed as ambassador to the UN, but she has already given her farewell tour and is expected to resign once confirmed. If the bill passed, it would have left Stefanik's seat open until the general election in November. It was expected to be voted on today, but has since been killed and did not appear on the agenda for debate. Here's some reaction that we gathered following the announcement it would no longer be voted on.
I'm always in favor of saving taxpayers money. And when you think about special elections, usually very low turnout, and basically, for my 26 years being in government, it sometimes can be perceived as being a waste of money. And that's why the idea to move to a primary or general election, that was appealing to me.
It's a big win for New York, and it's a big win for New York 21, because this would have really disenfranchised about 800,000 residents in that district. So it's the right result.
The governor herself, when New York 3 came open, made a statement that it was her duty as the governor to make sure that we got somebody in place in the New York 3 congressional district as soon as possible, because the people needed representation. So, you know, that's where we're at. I'm astounded. I'm happy to have been part of the team that helped stop this.
As you heard, there are some Democrats in support of the bill, some Republicans completely against it. We did ask several lawmakers if the bill could reappear again, and we were told never say never. Reporting live in Albany, Ashley Stefanik, CBS 6 News.
Much for that, Ashley. The decision to drop the bill comes after a long day of protest and outrage at the state capitol. Republicans from the state Senate and the state Assembly coming together to lash out at the bill and the idea of leaving 750,000 North Country constituents without representation in the House for close to a year.
It's all about the outcome. It's not about process, democracy, voter participation. They could give a shit. They could give a shit. And you put that in the newspapers. You put that on your news tonight. I can't shame them. They have none.
About 2 hours after that fiery rhetoric, the word came down that the bill would not reach the floor of the state legislature. Now, this controversy was in large part centered here in New York State and in D.C., but the debate over the delay in representation was also playing out all across the country. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik.
It is important to speak out.
It's expected the Senate will confirm her shortly as the next U.S. ambassador to the United Nations. If and when that happens, she will resign her seat in Congress, and that sets in motion the process to replace her. By law, the governor has 10 days to call for a special election, and by law, that election has to be held in 70 to 80 days. But now that law and the timeline are being challenged, first by Governor Kathy Hochul.
You can always count on one thing, is that Republicans will scream loudly if there's ever an effort to bring voter access to more people. They just don't like it.
And now the New York State Legislature with a bill that would change the law and delay this special election until the November general election. Merging elections would save money for the 15 local counties in the 21st congressional district, but it would also leave the more than 750,000 people in the district without a voice in Washington for many more months.
This is not democracy. This is not representative government. This is the ultimate anti-democratic maneuver that you've seen with the New York legislature in a long time, if they allow this to pass.
Armstrong Williams is a political columnist and commentator and a TV talk show host with our sister station in Washington, D.C. D.C.
I think this is more of an indictment, not of Hochul, not of Hakeem Jeffries or Chuck Schumer. It is more of the legislature in New York. Who has the backbone? Who has the courage to go against what you realize is the politicization of the process and stand up for the people who, in numbers of 800,000, will be disenfranchised if the legislature vote this into law?
Critics say New York Democrats may be doing this at the behest of Democrats in Washington to keep the Republican majority in the House at a razor-thin 217-215 for as long as possible. Hochul claims a longer campaign assures a better campaign and better voter turnout if the voters go to the polls on an established or traditional election day. The bill to delay the vote talks of voter fatigue and confusion if there are too many elections in the course of a year.
What a very short time frame does, it favors people who are already elected officials versus a citizen who wants to run, because there's a lot involved in this. So you're actually denying more opportunities for people to run who don't already have an elective office.
Enrollment in the 21st leans heavily Republican. Stefanik won last fall with more than 60% of the vote, so the Republican candidate would be favored to win the election. The only real drama, when will that election be?
This is a red district, okay? It's not going to change. That person would have the ear of the White House, would have the ear of the Republican Congress, which has a trifecta, and could deliver the goods to that district. That's exactly what, that's the price. The price that's being paid is by the constituency themselves.
And late today, Senator Rob Ortt said his conference will remain vigilant in his words against any effort to bring the bill back.